May 7th, 1943. Explosions rake the outskirts of Tunis. A 19-year-old Afrika Korps grenadier stumbles from his trench, drops his Mauser, and throws up his hands. He braces for rage or a rifle butt. Instead, an American sergeant pats him down and offers a cigarette. The boy doesn't yet understand that his war is over, and that the strangest journey of his life has just begun. Days later, Axis resistance collapses across Tunisia. Under a searing sun, the young prisoner sits inside a barbed wire pen among thousands of defeated men, trading rumors about starvation, shooting, or revenge. The guards hand out water and US rations, canned meat, biscuits, coffee, better than anything he'd seen in weeks. Within days, he's herded to the docks, packed into the hot hold of a Liberty ship, and carried north through submarine-haunted seas. He expects a torpedo. Instead, he gets soup, bread, and a second chance to sleep. 2 weeks later, the convoy slides into New York Harbor beneath the Statue of Liberty. He blinks at intact skyscrapers. German radio had promised American cities were rubble. At Camp Shanks, he's tagged, deloused, examined. A doctor treats a shrapnel cut he'd ignored. The commandant, through an interpreter, says the Americans will follow the Geneva Convention. Skepticism lingers as the prisoners board a southbound train. Pullman seats, not cattle cars, and stare at an unbombed America rolling past. A rail yard stop near Kansas City opens a door in his mind. The air smells of meat. Workers bite sandwiches thick with beef. An MP returns with a paper sack and passes hamburgers through the window. Hot bread, real cheese, dripping juice. The first bite tastes like heresy. The world, he realizes, is not what he was told. By late June, he's stepping into Camp Hearn, Texas. 720 acres of prairie behind double wire and wooden towers, yet laid out like a small town. Barracks smell of fresh lumber. He receives clothes stenciled PW, clean sheets, an electric fan, and a latrine with hot showers. In the hospital, doctors use medicines he's only heard rumors about. A dose quiets the desert cough he's carried for months. He sleeps under a light bulb and wakes to a breakfast that beggars belief. Oatmeal with milk, powdered eggs, bacon, bread with butter and jam, and real coffee. Some men, afraid rations will be cut if food is wasted, burn or bury la. Routine takes hold. Reveille, roll call, meals, letters home, screened by censors. He begins English lessons, tracing words in a dog-eared dictionary for the letter he wants to send his mother in Hesse. The library stocks banned German authors. A phonograph spins American tunes. On movie night, the prisoners hoot and whistle like teenagers in a village cinema. On Sundays, soccer becomes church. Barracks teams meet on an open field. Guards place small bets, and locals park outside the fence to watch the Huns fly down the wings in homemade jerseys. The victors parade after a 3-2 match as if they've won the World Cup. Not everything is harmless. After lights out, ideological zealots whisper and threaten. Secret courts mete out beatings to men who doubt the Reich or cheer Allied victories. A neighbor shows up with a bruised face and broken ribs. The Americans begin separating the most fanatical prisoners, but inside the wire, the war of ideas slithers on. Work details pull the young man beyond the fence. At dawn, he rides an open truck to cotton fields. No blindfolds, only sun and space. Tractors, harvesters, electric lines to barns, prosperity everywhere. At noon, the farmer's wife appears with iced lemonade and ham sandwiches, and the Texans invite the Germans to eat in the pecan shade. The boy sips the cold glass and sees, with painful clarity, the contrast between propaganda and reality. These supposed enemies treat him with a gentleness his own officers rarely showed. Camp life keeps expanding. With wood, paint, and cement, the prisoners build a theater and even a swimming pool. A former Leipzig conductor assembles an orchestra. On concert nights, Guards and townspeople sit among German officers in improvised tuxedos while Mozart drifts through a Texas summer. Locals joke the place is the Fritz Ritz. The joke cuts both ways when sugar, rationed in town, proves plentiful enough in camp to chalk soccer lines. Word gets out, housewives fume. The prisoners learn that even kindness can look unfair from the outside. The months accumulate along with pounds. Men who arrived hollow-cheeked now write home about steak, white bread, and safety. Under this soft pressure of plenty, something harder begins to crack. Reports call it ideological collapse. In barracks newspapers and careful letters, prisoners question what they were told about America. One line, "We were told fairy tales by criminals," circulates like a confession. No lecture could cut as deep as the everyday, a paid day in the fields, an orchestra's crescendo, a glass of lemonade. May 1945 ends the Reich. The camp mood turns solemn and practical. Canteens close, privileges shrink, rations tighten to mirror hungry Europe. Then comes the reckoning. In the theater, reels of film reveal the camps, emaciated survivors, mountains of shoes, the machinery of murder. Some hiss propaganda, others lower their heads. 1,000 uniforms burn in a different camp after a showing. In Herne, arguments and silences run late into the night. The boy, older now, feels shame and relief braided together. His last Christmas behind wire is quiet. Stille Nacht, around a small fire, a shared memory of home. In January 1946, he boards a train, then a ship. In his duffel, letters, a carved wooden longhorn for his brother, a few $100s from farm labor. As the camp recedes, the fences and towers seem almost familiar, proof that comfort can grow anywhere. Bremerhaven greets him with ruins and ration cards. He hugs his family, plumper than when he left, and tells stories they struggle to believe. Hot showers, clean sheets, hamburgers, orchestras, and Americans who said please and thank you. Years later, he will still call it unreal. Not the comfort, exactly, but what it did to him. He had been captured by a nation he was taught to despise, and freed, long before repatriation, by the simple insistence of its daily life. The sun on a cotton field, a sandwich in the shade, a melody over barbed wire. No leaflets, no speeches, just a relentless kindness that contradicted his training. It did not make him American. It made him see. He returns to help rebuild a country he now understands differently. Some fellow prisoners will emigrate back to the land of their captivity. Most will stay and carry the memory as a private compass. When he thinks of Texas, he remembers the first bite of a hamburger, the hush before a symphony's downbeat, and a guard tapping ash from a cigarette and saying, "You'll be all right, kid." In a war defined by cruelty, those ordinary moments became the most extraordinary education of his life. The quiet proof that dignity, offered stubbornly, can outlast barbed wire and break an idea without firing a shot.